Welcome to today's session. Do you like going places, children? I sure do. In today's story, we will learn about a boy who went to a wonderful place to spend his Christmas vacation. Let's listen to the story. James's parents had finally fulfilled their promise of celebrating Christmas in the hills. They had come all the way to Srinagar from Bengaluru. It was a tiresome journey, but James was full of energy. James and his parents checked in at a guest house near Dull Lake. He wanted to speak with his best friend Jenny and share his excitement with her. He picked up a phone and settled down next to a fireplace. He dialed Jenny's number. We are staying in a two-storied building with long corridors. There are heaters in all the rooms, and all the rooms have wooden walls. It can get really cold here, James told her. A newspaper right next to him caught his eye. Hey, I'll call you soon. Merry Christmas. James quickly ended the conversation and picked up the newspaper. It read, Christmas gathering and celebration at Floating House by Dull Lake, open to all kids. James wondered how a gathering could happen on a boat. He quickly wore his snow boots and jacket. He left his parents a note and rushed out of the guest house with the newspaper. As he walked on the footpath by the lake, he noticed the houses around him. They did not have a terrace as the houses in Bengaluru. They had small roofs made of tin in the shape of an A. The snow would slide down those roofs as he walked by. He was eager to see the floating house, but he didn't know how to get there. Do you see houses like this where you stay? Hello, James went to an old woman walking a little ahead of him. Can you please help me get here? He pointed to the newspaper in his hand. Oh, I am going there too, the woman said happily. We can go together. She pointed at a lovely long house situated alongside Dull Lake. This is the Christmas party house you were looking for, the woman exclaimed. She told him that houses like that have a special name. They are called houseboats. So, children, have you ever spent your Christmas on a boat? Let's see what James did in the floating house. Wow, James's eyes lit up. Do people actually live inside them? Of course they do, the woman replied. James was thrilled. They walked inside the houseboat. The houseboat was long and rectangular. The entire house was made of wood except for the tin roof. A large wood burning stove kept the houseboat warm. In one of the rooms, children gathered around the Christmas tree. The hostess of the gathering was singing a Christmas carol, and the children repeated after her. A man dressed as Santa distributed candies to everyone. When he saw James come, he handed him some candies. He took James's hand and said, Let's join. And children, have you ever received gifts from Santa? James spent that morning singing and dancing. Santa gave him a present as well. It was soon time to go home. When James opened his present that night, he found a tiny wooden houseboat that could fit in his palm. It had been a fun-filled Christmas for James. Wasn't that a lovely story? Come, let's summarize the story. James and his parents traveled to Srinagar for Christmas. They stayed in a guest house near Dull Lake. Excited, James called his friend Jenny and discovered a Christmas gathering on a houseboat. Leaving a note for his parents, he headed to the event and met an old woman who guided him to the houseboat. Inside it was warm and rectangular with a wood burning stove. Children sang carols around a Christmas tree and Santa gave candies to everyone. They danced and celebrated, and Santa gifted James a tiny wooden houseboat. It was a joyful and memorable Christmas for James. Excellent. Are you ready to learn some new words from the story? Come, let's look at the first word. First is tiresome, which means something that makes one tired. Alright, next up, excitement, the state of happiness or enthusiasm. Next is corridors, a long narrow passage in a building with doors that open into rooms on either side. So this is a corridor. wondered to think about something. Next is terrace, an area outside a house or restaurant where you can sit, eat, and enjoy the sun, like this. Roof is a structure that covers or forms the top of a building. So, this here is a roof. Great. Next up is houseboat, which is a boat that people can live in, usually kept at a particular place on a river or lake. Alright, next is thrilled, which means very excited and pleased. Lastly, hostess is a woman who invites guests to a meal, a party, etc. Alright, students, so are you ready for some question answers? Let's get started. The first question is, what did James's parents promise him? The answer is, James's parents promised him that they would celebrate Christmas in the hills. Alright, are you ready for the next? Who helped James reach the floating house? An old lady helped James reach the floating house. Alright, next one is, how did James find out about the Christmas party in the floating house? Here's the answer. James found out about the Christmas party in the floating house from a newspaper he saw while talking to his friend Jenny. Great job doing the lesson Christmas in the Lake. Come back next time for more fun stories, poems, and a lot more.